symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? The Job Guys back with you one more time. Nick over there, Ryan right over here. Voice is a little goofy this morning because it's the morning, and we were up all night at Summerfest 2023. 30 years after 1993, SummerSlam returns to Detroit. I was there in attendance. Nick watching at home. So we're going to have a little dueling banjos over here on what Nick saw at home and what I saw in Ford Field. Thank you so much for joining us. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. If you haven't done that already, it would very much appreciate it. Nick, you go first, as we always do. Overall thoughts on the show. If you want to give it a grade, just your overall thoughts on the night.
I'm still in the air on the grade, Ryan. I don't know because I've got some mixed feelings about what went on here last night. It's still kind of settling in my head. Immediate reaction, I feel like the front of the card was better than the back of the card.
I agree.
Yeah, if you will. That's just right off the bat, my immediate reaction. Then I think is SummerSlam now. It's going to be WrestleMania 2 days. SummerSlam, though, will be the next longest pay-per-view. It seems like we're getting 4+ hours every year now.
And we only had 8 matches, and people were upset about some matches not being on this card.
Right. Couple matches. But, the start of the show, I thought was great. I'm sitting there going, oh, my God, Ryan Slocum is going to be at 2 of the greatest live events of that pay-per-view genre, WrestleMania, which to me last year's WrestleMania was a top 10, I think. WrestleMania,
especially night one. Yep.
Yes. This, I was like, oh my God, this SummerSlam's just going. And then it kind of teetered for me, Ryan. So like I said, the grade is still up in the air in my head.
Yeah, I have a slight thumbs up because of exactly what you said. But a slight thumbs up. I was not happy with the last couple of matches, and we will get into it. The last match left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. And we will get into that as we go. So a slight thumbs up for me.
We should say, and that's funny too, because we log on here. First thing I told you is don't say anything to me.
Right.
Me and you have not spoken to each other since this.
I didn't text you or you text me throughout the entire show. I think the last thing I sent you, which I'll get into a little bit too, WrestleCon was amazing. Some very cool things happened at WrestleCon. That's the last thing I sent to you. So, yeah, absolutely. And because I was there, I normally take notes. I did not take any notes, so I will just shoot from the hip. Let's start at I'll talk to you about Detroit. It's been 30 years. It has been since WrestleMania 23 that we have had a major pay-per-view in Detroit. This place was buzzing, man. I mean, it was awesome. We went down Friday night. Awesome. We live, if you don't know where we're at, we're up in the Flint area, which is a little over an hour, depending on traffic and everything, from Detroit, straight north up I-75. So we went down because we're like, man, it's going to be a zoo down there. Every single person I know, except for one person, was going to WrestleMania or to SummerSlam.
And Summerfest, whatever that is.
So I knew it was going to be just a freaking zoo. So we went down to the store early. There's a giant mural of Roman and Jay on the side of a building. We went and checked that out, wandered around, all that kind of stuff. And you could feel it already, man. And there's always like a chant. Like one year when we were in New Orleans, Adam Cole was blowing up and everybody was yelling, baby, down in Orlando. And I think in New Orleans at 33 and 34, was everywhere. You couldn't get away from You're at Shake Shack and people are going, Ryan, when they give you your order and then the whole restaurant starts yelling, I mean, it was insane down there.
Number one merch guy right now.
Number one merch guy, but not even just him, just the buzz overall. So then we go to get in line. We wandered all around downtown. Everywhere you went, it was nothing but wrestling shirts. The Tigers were playing yesterday. Madonna was supposed to play yesterday, and then her face fell off, so she wasn't there. But everybody else was there. She has Dash and Cody's mask on, I think, now. So the line to get in to the stadium, there's a side street called Brush Street. It was full all the way down past Comerica Park, which is right next to Ford Field. It was a sea of people, man. It was just they were so thirsty for another big event. It was electric, man. And the way the show started with Logan Paul right out of the gate, the match we knew was going to be a great match, and it delivered right away, Nick. It delivered right away. To me, this was the match of the night. I know a lot of people say other matches were, and you can give me what you think. To me, this is the best match of the night right out of the gate.
It was a great match, man. I thought it was awesome. And I love the finish that they both kind of couldn't finish each other off with that. Logan Paul realizing kind of like, I don't know if I can beat this guy, the heel move to cheat at the end. And they had some great spots. I tried to take notes on my phone here. I think Logan Paul, are we going maybe Strowman now? They did mention that.
Well, he's hurt, but I don't know his situation.
They called it, Ryan. They said when he did these power slam on Ricochet, they sold it as a taunt toward Mr.
Really?
Strowman. Yes, they did.
And you know me, I immediately and I yelled British Bulldog, when that's yeah.
And then you saw, I love the tribute to the Hulkster and The Rock in the middle. Logan Paul drops this modified Hulk Hogan leg in the middle of the ring. Yep. It was great. Ricochet drops does his own. They called it the People's Moonsault.
Yes.
So that was
Is
great.
that where the People's Moonsault?
The People's Moonsault. Logan Paul, he reminds me of Buff.
Only way better.
Yes, better in the ring, but the way he looks at the camera and talks and goes back, he's like a 2.0 Buff. It's great. I hope he keeps that up. I'm sorry, I'm on the Logan Paul train. Dude, I like this guy.
Everybody is.
I wish he was full-time. That's the only criticism I have of him. This guy has it. I wish he would come into the wrestling world full-time because he belongs here. You can see it.
And this is the match. I got home at like 2:15 in the morning, and I watched this match again. Because I kept seeing other wrestlers, even like Torrie Wilson was like, how good is this guy? And you're exactly right. His other matches have been good, and we've been impressed within the ring. He put it all together in this match, including what you're saying, constantly laying on the ropes and looking and waving at
the my God.
Dude,
great.
Dude, he is awesome. He is so stinking good. And he's got the entire package. I thought the right guy won. He needed to win because he hasn't won anything yet. Ricochet can lose. It's no big deal.
This guy doesn't lose again for a while. If I'm booking this guy, because he's only a slight, he's not there all the time.
Right.
I would push this guy. I think this guy is awesome, man.
He's really good.
I mean, Brock Lesnar wrestles only on pay-per-views and not all of them, and he sells a lot of tickets. I think Logan Paul can do the same thing.
Yeah, the moves were all great. Great story. The end, I was kind of at first like, oh, really? After all that, it ends with brass knucks and the ref didn't see it, but it made sense. Like, that's the way it should have happened.
And it kept Ricochet strong.
Yeah.
Because
he can say he got beat with brass knucks.
Right. You couldn't beat me with wrestling.
Before we get to the second match, this show, and we've ripped on it a lot, or maybe not ripped on it, but like talked about it. This show, more than any show ever, dude, there was not one backstage interview on this show. There was not one backstage segment, at least that we saw in the building, not a single one. And when they came out of the open with Kid Rock, which was, say what you want about him, that was an awesome open, going back to 88, going back to all the old years and all that. It was awesome. They do the best job. And they had pre-match packages for everything. But, dude, they do the open to the show. Logan Paul's music hits right away.
Right.
Boom.
They're going.
I mean, dude, they were going. There was no segments during this at all. And it still
the only
went
one,
4
I don't know
hours.
if you saw it. There was an energy or a drink segment in the back with Mike's Lemonade or something.
You know what?
Like
yes,
that.
we did with Maxine and them, right?
Yeah, that was
we
I think that was the only thing from the back.
Taped
it was
commercial.
It was just right. I would look at it more that way, a commercial.
Right. So then we get to, I think, maybe the second best match of the night, or first. Right away, it is Cody against Brock Lesnar. Again,
Ryan, question for you.
Yeah.
93 still stings in some people's mouth that you've talked to.
Right.
First two, did you mention that with anybody? And was there a little taunting from the WWE world with Brock trying to count out Cody Lesnar? Do you think, like, kind of back at 93?
You know,
like,
I didn't think about that. No,
like if there was just like a draw to it. But did you hear anything about 93 or?
I did not. No, I didn't at all. You know, only just in passing, people like, yeah, how stupid was it? Just the stuff.
Right.
He was celebrating. What was wrong with him? But no, not at all. I didn't hear that.
Because I was like, they cannot end this in a count out, man. This must be a taunt, like, of some sort, because he kept, but okay.
So I'll tell you a story real quick. I was a little shy here for the first 2 matches of the show. I won't get into exactly what happened, but let's just say I was sitting much closer than I should have been sitting yesterday. And I was being very shy and quiet for about the first 2 matches until I realized I was not going to get kicked out of the $1 million seats that I was sitting in that I wasn't supposed to be in. So,
nice.
Yeah. And then once about the middle of this match, I was like, all right, I'm safe. All right. So, yeah. So that's what happened there. I won't get into what and how I did it because I don't want people doing it next time I'm there when I try to do it again. So
people are not like missing that supposedly sat in those seats though, right, Ryan? Like you would.
I don't know where they put the bodies, dude. I don't know where they're at. I didn't ask. No, but anyway, this match, I thought it was great. I thought it was the best match of their trilogy. The finish was perfect. Cody, my gosh, and Brock's over too, but Cody, my gosh, this guy is over, man. They love that song. They love to yell whoa. They love all of that.
I'm sorry. I like Cody too. I'm on this Cody train, man. He reminds me a lot of Hulk, man. And what I mean by that is just like he is cheesy. Like, you cannot deny that. Like, this whole, like, he's a 1980s superstar. And that's what I like about him, man. He reminds me of the 1980s good guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he does. He's an old school face. There's no question about it. He is the ultimate baby face.
And it's unbelievably over. And in an era, I didn't think that style would work.
Yeah. Well, and it is shocking. And I wonder, though, like we always say, the things they keep doing with him, is this going to get people to eventually turn on him? And I will say the end of this match, which Triple H said apparently was unscripted, whether this is true or not. Brock did this on his own after the match, the whole handshake and hug thing. Triple H said he wasn't supposed to do that. He just did it. So then you start thinking, well, is Brock done now? Is he leaving? Did he just do this because he knows he's not going to be around? Or why did he do that? Things like that are some of the things that make people turn. Oh, they're pushing him down our throats. Oh, they're putting him over. So I don't know what the case is there, but my gosh, this dude is massively over. Your thoughts on the match? I thought it was the best one they had. Now I don't know what you do with Cody after this. Who's he fighting now? Where's he going? But great match.
I don't know on that. Yeah, it was pretty good. I thought it might have been a tad too long for Lesnar, but yeah, it was good.
17 minutes.
Could you guys see how bad Lesnar powering out of the Kimura was when Cody put him in the Kimura?
It was a little weak. He should have picked him up and slammed him. He just kind of
sets him down. If you watch back,
he kind of really flicked him in, and that was it.
But the only part I thought that I guess that made it too long. Maybe they did one too many. Brock knocked him back on the outside to get the count out thing. Yeah. But I did like just not as many. I did like that. I mean, you even got Michael Cole just screaming, "Stay down."
Yeah.
You know, like it was kind of cool. You start, and this is, all these guys, Lesnar screaming, "Stay down."
Was he? I could not see that.
Yeah, it was. I thought the match was pretty good. The right guy again wins. And I don't know what they're doing with Lesnar, but I thought this was a pretty good match. I don't know if I liked it as much as you did, but I had no problem. Thought it was a great way to end the trilogy because there's no question now. And
right,
what a freaking run for Cody Rhodes too. When we think about, I mean, I hope,
but he should have beat Brock or should have beat Roman.
And I think even we go back, I hope some people have had the chance to maybe come to reality when they say, this is going to be the biggest mistake of his career. They're going to kill him.
He's bigger.
He's the second biggest guy in the world, I would say right now, behind Roman Reigns.
No question.
I mean, this guy is selling merchandise. Like, he's having the career. I mean, his father would only dreamed of he could have, this is unbelievable.
Yep.
The guy is so over. I love him, dude. I'm in on the whoa too. I love when he comes up. Because something about him, dude, as much as I think it's cheesy, I don't know him. I've never met him. It seems authentic, Sloke. Like, from the documentary to stuff like that. I mean, is there stuff where he is known as a bad guy off the screen or something like that?
No, not at all. Not that I've heard.
See, that's why I think it also works, because it seems to me like he's a good dude.
Yeah, I think so. I think does look fake, but I think that's just the way he is. So it isn't fake. Does that make sense? What I mean?
Yes.
Like, that's just the way he talks and the way
Ted
he
Lasso.
is.
It's like Ted freaking Lasso. Like,
I have not seen that. I hear it's
well,
awesome.
you get into it. You watch 2 episodes, and I was ready to shut it off because I'm like, it's such a positive, wonderful show. I really recommend that people should watch it. But you're like, this is too cheesy. I don't want to watch this. Then you keep going.
Right.
You end up just sitting there smiling, and just really enjoying the show.
Okay. I hear it's great.
But that's how
Cody
I think
wins.
of Cody. Yeah.
Cody wins massively over, shaking
Where does
hands,
he go?
kissing babies. I don't know what he does now, because I don't know who's a heel on Raw who's at his level. I have no idea. That's a great question. I was thinking maybe somebody was going to come out and like attack him or something to set up a new feud, because I don't know what you do, but they'll figure out something.
Well, remember, they left off the Lesnar feud starts with him confronting Rollins.
Right.
The Monday after WrestleMania.
I don't think they can do that
after the championship.
I don't think they can do that. And I
don't
we'll
either.
Get to that. I think that feud is going to keep going. Like, the next pay-per-view will be a triple threat or something. Battle Royal time. They kind of scared me a little bit on SmackDown with LA Knight beating Sheamus. WWF booking as well as anybody.
You don't win twice
on
in
the
a row.
last show, you do not win at the pay-per-view.
No.
So they threw a little red herring out there for everybody. Knight comes out last. They brought out, I don't know what you saw on TV, but like 18 dudes all came out to one SummerSlam theme song. And then, then The Miz gets an entrance. AJ gets an entrance. And LA Knight gets an entrance. And Knight, I mean, dude, it was top 3 pop of the night, if not 2 or 1. I mean, it was massive.
Well,
and he wins. Place is electric again, man. I mean, I don't want to say too much. There were some good spots in here. Just, this guy has the rocket on him. It is, I mean, this is going to be very interesting until now to Mania, how big this guy gets, what they do with him, because it was the story of the weekend to me, what I said earlier. You couldn't get away from there were shirts everywhere. People dressed up like him everywhere, man. He did a ton of media this week locally on all the TV stations. He was the guy doing the media. It's on. It's happened. It's here. LA Knight, man.
We could have a really good Royal Rumble if they keep pushing Gunther, Cody, and LA Knight right, because nothing better about the Royal Rumble is when you don't know who's going to win it, right?
Yeah.
And all those guys are on trajectories heading upward. But you are right, man. I was just starting, kind of cool. Thought it was a good surprise entrance by Omos. Omos comes in.
We didn't know he hasn't been around since like Mania, I don't think.
I thought the Battle Royal also. You said that you like this might have been one of my favorite matches of the night. I love Battle Royals. They're overdone, but this one is a blueprint, man. And this is why I wrote this down. Gave good spots to several people. Omos, Gable, Theory. You don't need to give spots to everybody, but those are some guys you're trying to push. Each of them had moments where the whole ring kind of centered on them.
Yep.
2 feuds advanced. I'm sitting there thinking the whole time, why are you putting your United States champion in this match? He's got to get thrown out.
Well, I was wondering that too.
Who throws him out? the guy that's coming for his title. So, because, I don't think, is it Escobar is his name, I believe.
Santos, yep.
Santos.
Escobar.
And that's Escobar. I don't think he's going to take it from Theory, but maybe this is their way of showing, okay, he's now one-upped him.
He's a guy, yeah.
We got a match coming. Styles and Cross, their feud kind of continued on here with that going out. Possible tag team formed with The Miz and Grayson Waller. I don't know if you saw that as where you guys were at. Those two kind of had a connection, kind of went out, kind of similar together. This is, I think the people at home thought Knight had a better chance maybe than you did. They did not mention his name till the final 6 or 8 dudes.
Oh, really?
He was non-existent, Ryan. And then when they got down, I thought it was a great final 3. And of course, the right guy won. Because nothing stinks when you get to a final 3 or 4 and you're like, it's Squat Team 1, 2, Savio Vega, and Shawn Michaels. Like
Roman Reigns and 400-year-old Kane and Big Show.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay, great. But I thought this match was great. I really enjoyed it. And I can't wait. I just hope people don't push Knight too hard.
Yeah,
this guy, like, this is perfect. Like how it's going, he's got to go slow. He doesn't need to win a match every week. He doesn't need to be on every segment every week.
Right.
Don't crush him down our throats to the point where we're like, this is a lot. And
I think that's what they've been doing, and people have been. They're burying him. No, he just doesn't win everything. They're like, they didn't bury him at all. They just didn't make him the champ the first day.
Before you start pushing someone, you got to have a plan, Ryan.
Right.
He gets a big win over Sheamus on SmackDown, and he wins and there was a package for this battle royal. They showed you a bunch of battle royals and things going on. I think a lot of the clips were from the Rumble, but it's still, they pumped it. They are pushing this guy. I hope we get, I'm ready for him.
Yeah, the one thing I was surprised, and they asked Triple H afterward, I was surprised that Theory was in this. Like, why is he in this? It didn't make any sense. And then his answer was stupid. He was like, because he's in it to win it. Oh, is that what it was? Okay. Yeah, I was surprised that he was in it, but whatever. It's fine.
Wasn't booking.
So, Shayna, Ronda. First question I got asked when I was leaving the building. Nice to meet you guys. Saw some Job Guy fans. They were like, "Oh, we got to ask you about Shayna Ronda. Got to ask you about Shayna Ronda." And I went to get something to eat.
Good.
And apparently half of the 50,000 people also did the same thing. I did not hear.
It was so
everybody was saying that the crowd absolutely turned on this. I couldn't hear that from the concourse.
I didn't hear anything.
It just it was just crickets. Was silent. Yeah.
I just believe what you said. Everybody got up, went to the bathroom,
Yeah, we did because I had to wait in line to get food and everything. And luckily it worked out perfect when I got back. It was right when Drew was coming down to the ring, but I did not see this match. I didn't care to see this match. I will say the packages they did on Raw, they did 2 of them. They were amazing. Now, if they would have done those 2 years ago or something with Ronda and Shayna, I probably would have cared about these women. Those packages were awesome, but they did it the day before the show. I didn't care. And I didn't see it, but I heard it was awful. University panned. Everybody else, my friends there, said it was god awful. Twitter, Facebook, whatever, god awful. It sounds like Ronda's leaving.
Ryan, it's the weakest feud on the card too. You're going in here with, remember, we watched Money in the Bank together. Like, what the hell just happened?
Right.
They break this tag team out of nowhere. So you don't have a lot going in to this match, which means the match has got to deliver, right?
Right.
It did not, man. In these MMA matches, I mean, I think Rollins and Riddle may have put on probably the best one I've seen. Why I think they're stupid, though, is the same thing we criticize, similar to other criticisms. So now you're in an MMA match where your kick hurts more?
This is the real stuff.
Okay, so if that kick that you're landing now is lethal, it's not illegal in the WWE to kick. Why don't you just use that in your other matches.
Right. This hurts worse than the other. The other ones are fake. This one's real.
And it was so, Ryan, they were flipping. I mean, they tried. I thought it got off okay, but this stuff just doesn't. Fake MMA fighting doesn't work. It doesn't work, man. And it really, to me, makes your other matches and product look bad too. Because, you know, like I just, I'm with you. Bad match. I would have rather seen Becky and Trish on the card, man, to be honest with you, than this.
Well, and you know how I feel about that. I think Trish stinks.
I know you do.
So I think that would have been just a botch fest, but whatever. Either way, thank God it sounds like Ronda's gone, because I think she stinks, and I think she's actually terrible. And I never understood it. Even 5 years ago, her star was done. It was over. She got beat. She's not invincible anymore. It was over with. And they brought her in the first time. Okay, whatever. The second time, this last year and a half, whatever it's been, stinks. It's been bad. So, and all right, she's gone now. We can move on. All right. Gunther, McIntyre, IC title. Gunther is like 30 days away from breaking the Honky Tonk Man's record. I don't know if they talked about that on the show.
They did.
Honky Tonk Man sure as heck did talk about it at WrestleCon. As I told you at WrestleCon,
is he okay now?
You know, no, he's pissed. He's still pissed. I told you we talked about it for like 5 or 10 minutes with him, and I didn't even ask him. He just came up to me and was like, "Who's this guy? Who's this guy who's going to break my record? They say he's better than me. He ain't better than me." Well, I told that story. Same thing again here. My boy Brock at WrestleCon, he did it. He would not shut up about it, man. He was not happy. Gunther wins clean. It's what it should have been. It's a big win for Gunther. I would think probably his biggest win. Drew is he's kind of in no man's land. Like they got to do something. I think it's ready for
a heel. I think a heel turn should come.
And unless he's working us, he said in media this week that he is not going to turn heel and he doesn't want to. And maybe that was, if this is true, like the friction with storylines, maybe they want him to turn. He said the same thing. He's like, I do all this work with the Special Olympics and stuff. I don't want to turn. But he's kind of a man without a home because he's too good.
I was thinking Cody.
He's too good for the mid card, but he's not good enough for the main event. So he's kind of like a B right
plus.
Now.
He's like a B plus. You know, he's
been hurt, and he's kind of just been, So I don't know, but another good match. I didn't think it was great, but a good match, and Gunther wins.
I did. That's the only thing. I thought it was great. The important thing was Gunther won. I feel like they keep trying to create the castle match with every match Gunther has. I hope they get more in. This guy's got to do different matches or get something rolling, because right now I'm not going to be upset with the Honky, but Honky, if you hear this, you're better than this guy at my point. I'd still rank Honky better than this guy.
Well, we just did the IC title, and we won't tell you what number Honky is if you do want to watch it, but please go watch that. The top 10 IC champions of all time.
I still need, you got this guy. We all believe he's a force. We all believe there's something special there, and there is something there. But we keep saying this. We sound like a broken record, right? Needs something more. This guy has to develop more for me. Just having this title, the record helps. Don't get me wrong. He's settled with that. But once you pass that record, what's next?
Right.
Like you got to do something with this guy and get a little bit more depth into character.
That's the depth to the character. Like, we know he's a big, tough guy and he hits hard, and we know that, but I'd like a little more into who he is. But no, he's good, man. I think he's real good. He's believable. He can do a little of everything. We see the strong style where he's just smoking people with the chops and everything, but then he can fly around. He gets up to the top rope. Yeah, he's good, man. I just need a little more depth to the character. All right. Now we're on to Seth. Finn Balor. Finn Balor's been doing the best work of his WWE career, I think, the last month. He's real good promos. Judgment Day, who would have thought they'd be anything? I think you can thank Dom and Rhea for that, mainly Dom, but it's rubbed off. He's been doing great work. Seth wins when he gets a little distracted with the briefcase, After what's his name came down with the briefcase, he gets stomped on the briefcase. Seth wins, so I think we're going to continue this and maybe a three-way dance. Something's going on here with these guys. I thought this match wasn't great until the end. Like the last few minutes were awesome.
That's what I thought. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but it was slow. It got good. The last, I agree. Did you guys all catch in the arena? Rollins wore the same gear he hurt Balor in 7 years ago.
I heard someone say that. I didn't recognize that, but yes, probably someone else did say home.
That. Yeah, the announcers brought that up. And I don't know what they're doing. You might be right. I mean, do we go? They could go more Rollins, Balor, Priest now in a triple threat. Or is Judgment Day imploding? Because I had heard somewhere on rumors, and take it for what you may, that maybe they were going to move Balor out of Judgment Day and kind of replace with Priest as the front man and add another member. Yeah. So I don't know, because I know there are people out there that like Balor, like his wrestling style. And I'm with you, but and again, I think the right guy won. Again, that's the good thing about a lot of these matches. The right person won, because I don't think a drop of that title right now, it's got to go for a little while, at least. Or the right person has to dethrone him.
I thought we were going to get one title change on this, and I didn't know if LA Knight was going to win the Battle Royal and then challenge right then. I didn't know if there was going to be a cash in of the Money in the Bank. This was kind of the wild card here. I thought if anything was going to happen, it may be here, some kind of wonky thing where the belt changed, whether it was Finn, whether it was Priest, who I don't think's ready yet. But I thought maybe there was a possibility here of something wonky. I'm glad it didn't happen, and I'm glad Seth did win this. Big other story of the weekend. Rhea Ripley is over like a mofo also. I saw dudes everywhere, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, wearing Rhea Ripley shirts. I saw in the store dudes buying Rhea Ripley merch. She is massively over. She did an autograph signing that she was 2 hours late for at the outlet mall up by us. The line was insane, and all to see her. Her and Dom are over. When they came out through the crowd, the place went ape, man. Those two are massively over. Wanted to get that in as well. Seth moves on, but I think this feud will continue somehow. Okay, now girls triple threat match. This was my downer of the evening until the end.
Yeah,
I thought this match was going to be awesome. I thought we were going to get like
your top three girls.
Yes, and they can all work.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be like a WrestleMania 32 where that triple threat match was amazing. I thought this was going to be awesome. It was a downer to me. I didn't think it was good. I thought it was too long. The crowd bought into the Bianca injury, and they started clapping for her when they were carrying her out. And I immediately am like, guys, they sent 4 referees down. They didn't send doctors down.
And they're
they
taking
sent 4
10
referees
minutes to walk her up the aisle, guys. She's not going anywhere.
And then she collapsed. And I'm like, this is so fake. It's unbelievable. But I thought the right girl won. Bianca won. That's what should have happened. And then the cash in. And we've talked. I am so sick of Money in the Bank. It's so cheap. This is like the 38th cash in or something. I'm so over it. And it doesn't do EO any good.
No,
she wins in 8 seconds. She, great worker. She got over. We've seen by
She's
her
not
work.
Ready.
You want to talk about character development? They've done nothing with this girl. Like
nothing.
I don't get it. I don't like that they did it. Sounds like Kairi Sane is re-signed. Maybe we're gonna get a feud with her here. I just don't like the way they did it. I was not a fan of this. This was my downer of the evening.
I was hoping Bianca was gonna. I keep saying this. Bianca. I sent you and Jeff a text with my predictions earlier in the day, and I was like, Bianca wins, but she turns heel. I'm waiting. Come on, Bobby Lashley.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't either,
She's
man.
another one that said she doesn't want to turn.
But anyway, dude, Ryan, the match, I don't know if you guys could tell, it did not flow.
No.
A lot of it looked choreographed, and they kept doing the thing I tell you that they do on some nights of the week. When
in the middle, maybe
in the middle, when if you're messing up on a move, let it go. Move on to the next move. Don't just keep trying to reset the move. And they kept doing that. And again, people can say, and in matches that you're doing big moves and you're doing a lot of the high risk moves, you're going to have mess ups. But man, it's tough when it's your top talent doing it in a bad match. You know, it's one thing to have the mid card or the low card doing it, but this match was awful. It was a stinker. I did like the very end. If it would have ended before and then no cash in.
The finishing sequence was awesome.
It was great.
Yeah, great.
It was awesome. We had never seen that before.
Yep.
And then, you know, it just, but this match, thank goodness for this match that the Rousey and Baszler match is on this card, because if it wasn't, this would be the worst match of the night, hands down.
Yeah, and the expectations here is what really killed it. It probably wasn't that bad, but when you think it was going to be awesome, okay, well, I thought it was going to be awesome, and I was like, did love the finish sequence though. So there you go. Right, Io Sky is now your WWE Women's Champion.
I don't even understand why did they put the belt on Asuka anyway? If you're going to push Io with that Money in the Bank, her ending her run with this cash in would have been Asuka's run. I don't think is going to be memorable at all. With that,
it was really bad. It was really bad. She's like a psycho clown or something, and she did nothing.
And it lasted for what, 2-3 months?
Yeah, if that. She won it Backlash or something. Not good at all. Not good. The only good thing she did, she finally drilled someone with the mist. She finally drilled somebody. I mean, nailed her on that one. All right, man. That brings us to the main event. It is Roman, as always, taking on his cousin Jay here. Tribal combat match, which there was some things in here, but it kind of was just a match with a kendo stick and maybe a table or two.
Or like just a no DQ match.
Yeah, kind of just a no DQ match. Nothing special, just had a fancy name to it. And 36 minutes on this one.
It felt long.
It felt long. I didn't mind the match at all. I thought it was a good match until the end. I thought Roman needed to win clean because he never does, and he hasn't actually. It's been a while since he's won clean. And we got massive interference. Jimmy turns on Jay, which I thought was going to happen. I did think that was going to happen. But with that happening, if they went without a clean finish, somebody needed to come out and say, you broke the code or something of the tribal combat. This is supposed, when they did the head-to-head thing and the fist thing, and like they were supposed to be, okay, we are fighting together. This is it. No interference, no nothing. I thought somebody needed to come and say, you broke the code, and maybe they'll do that Friday. I don't know. Very disappointing the way it ended. In the arena, the air got let out of the building when Roman just won with another interference, massive interference. I don't think there were too many people that thought Jay was going to win, but just the way it happened, and it kind of deflated the place at the end of the night. And walking out of there, normally you hear a lot of chants and a lot of, you did not. It was just kind of like people got up and left. Very disappointing finish. And from everything else I've read, people feel the same way. I've even heard people say, the Bloodline has finally jumped the shark. This was like it. A lot of people are not happy here, Nick.
Yet to be seen if they're right, because I'm not going to say they're right or wrong. because I thought the match was a little slow for my liking, and I'm an old school guy that I don't need all the flipping and flying.
Right.
But yeah, the interference, I kind of figured Solo was coming at some point when he didn't walk down with Roman. I was the same as you, though. Maybe, and I don't know what people have going on in their lives, but why weren't the elders at ringside? That was for I was waiting to see, what's Rikishi doing? He's got things going on. He can't be there.
Right.
Alpha's busy. I mean, what?
And those guys are old, but Rikishi, what's he doing?
Right. I mean, or some of them, I mean, they could just be there, even could even show them from an area live via satellite or something, if they can't make it. But the match itself wasn't okay. It wasn't bad. It was kind of, when they went in the crowd, it was kind of cool. I thought, again, haven't seen that in a while. And a good match, but the end, Ryan, Strike Force, Harlem Heat, the Steiners, the Rockers, where you're going, the Dream Team. I can go on with this, and I'll let you know where I'm going with this. And this is even worse, Ryan, because they're the same guy. And what I'm going with, Ryan, is they both can't make it.
The Hardy Boys.
They both can't make it. When you break up tag teams, and if you listen to the ones I listen, go back, look it up. They both cannot do this, Ryan. And the problem, they're the same dude.
Yeah, I literally.
They have same characteristics, even the charisma, the talking, everything. I assume it's going to be that Jay stole Jimmy's spot.
It does make sense. If you go back, it makes sense. That day when Roman Jay was dressing down Jimmy, you were the homecoming king and you were sweet and da-da-da. And then he goes, if you're out, I'm out too. And then he kicked Roman. You're like, wait a minute. He just completely undressed his brother.
Well, I think it even goes back further than that, to the point where Roman said, I'm not the guy that didn't want you to be the right-hand man.
That's what I was going to say. Jimmy said he did not want Jay to be the tribal chief. He said that.
Right.
And they just kind of pushed that to the back burner. That is all now going to come back out. Because remember that, dude, he murders Jimmy verbally and then kicks Roman. And then they're like, oh, we're best friends again.
Right.
So now we're going to get
just don't. I'm sorry. I hope it works. I just don't. It's the exception, not the rule, that two guys break up in a tag team and they both make it. I mean, it's very rare. And I just don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't see these guys single outside the bloodline.
I don't.
I mean, I see Jey Uso main eventing, getting all this with Roman.
Yes.
Okay. What does he do without Roman?
Right. Are we getting Jey Uso against Cody at Royal Rumble? No, I don't think we are. I don't see that.
I don't either. That's where I'm worried about where this is going. I was hoping, I had a prayer, Ryan, for you guys on this match. I'm like, okay, Grayson Waller keeps mentioning The Rock.
Right.
Vince McMahon, I had heard PWI had reported he was not in Detroit. So I was like,
oh, Vince?
Yeah,
The Rock. Well, Vince just had back surgery. He's toast. He's in the hospital.
So he's not there. And I'm like, well, because maybe you had that idea. Vince Rock kind of wanted to distance him. I'm like,
yeah,
the writing strike. I know but The Rock is always busy. He's got the XFL. He's got the. But I knew a little bit less busy, if you will. I was praying he would come out and we would do two factions of the bloodline, Ryan. I didn't. But I guess this is the way we're going, and we're going Jimmy J. I hope it works out for both guys. I'm predicting within a year or maybe slightly more, slightly less, they're back together as the Usos.
I think it may be less than that. We've had so many surprises the last few years at Survivor Series. Becky came out, the Damage Control last year, Brock in Vegas. I think people were expecting something like that on this show, whether you hear every other day, oh, Orton is never going to wrestle again. Oh, Orton's in Detroit. Orton's coming back. Oh, he's never going to wrestle again. There were those rumors out there. The Rock, obviously, tons of other ones. And we didn't get anything. And I think that kind of, You know, and that's people's own fault for booking the territory on their own.
Right.
But the interference and the other thing with the bloodline here, and like we just said, it's not really a swerve if you remember what Jay said to Jimmy.
Pay attention.
But there have been so many swerves in this storyline that I think like people are sick of getting screwed with here a little bit. It's like Russo swerves here.
Solo is now up in the air. Solo and Roman
in that too. Yeah.
They're having a little trouble now. This is another one. I'm not ready. I'm not sure Solo is ready to move from Roman.
No,
I don't know what you do with that guy if he's just on his own, you know.
Right. Well, he'd have to go with Heyman, you know, and Heyman would have to be his guy and his spokesperson in person.
I just don't think it's a slow build for Solo, but I mean, remember, he kind of got power bombed into this thing. There was no real introduction. He just shows up at the castle, saves Roman, another save on Roman.
Just like Jimmy did, same exact thing, wearing a black hoodie.
Right. So, and I don't know if you guys could see it. Roman looked shocked. It looked like Roman was not in on this.
Okay. I did not see that.
From his face. So when he took off his Roman, unless, you know, it's part of an angle where they're, you know,
another swerve. Yeah.
But again, that wouldn't, I mean, he murdered him a couple weeks ago. So, I mean, just all of a sudden to be teaming with him at Survivor Series 87 after he broke your windpipe.
It's a crushed larynx.
Still one of the greatest things. They're high-fived in the ring.
Orndorff is back with Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, the other thing is, and I've been so high on this, I love the Roman talking during matches that they started during the pandemic when there was no crowd.
Right.
But there you go, crowd. Apparently he was talking his butt off during this match. Couldn't. We're in a football stadium.
Hey,
I don't know what Tom Brady's saying to people in the huddle. You know,
you weren't by them when they went out of the ring, were you?
No.
Because I was like, please tell me that's not. Someone was yelling stuff like maybe a Hortz or a Slocum would when they came out there, because he was like, Solo, don't do this. It's not you.
So I was doing that, but no, I wasn't. They were
oh God.
So I was
you could hear that when they were outside.
Yeah, that was not me. I was doing some of the classic lines though, the sportsmanship and things like that. Get in there, ref. Yeah, all those, the closed fist. I had Section 106 pretty excited there during that match, but no, that was not me. They were so where I was sitting, I was in the 6th row. They were like at my 3 o'clock. That's where they were at the hard cam area. And the hard cam was to the right of me. So yeah, that's where I was at. That was over there. But I don't know, it might have been. I'll have to listen. I'm not sure.
It's kind of funny. It's a little cheesy guy. It was just like, he's like, I can't remember. He's like, you don't want to do this Solo. He's like, Jay, you're the real Tribal Chief. And you can hear it.
That was not me. No, that definitely was not. I was sitting with a bunch of Jay fans. So it was opposite of WrestleMania, and they were all cool. Like everybody was cool and having fun. Yeah. But WrestleMania, it was all Roman people around me. This one, it was all Jay people. So, but no, it was a fun show. You know, again, there was a few everything. I don't want to say like this was really bad, but things like we said, the first 3 matches, awesome, great, amazing.
Might be one of the best 3 boom opening matches in SummerSlam history.
Yeah, it was very good. And then the other things, I don't want to say they were bad, they were disappointing. Like your dad, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
Right.
That's kind of what I felt out of like the Roman, the Bianca. And obviously, I didn't even see
the women's match. The 2 women's matches were bad, and especially, I don't think it's going to sit well with everybody right now, because whether you like it or not, a lot of people wanted Becky on this.
Yeah, they did. A lot of people.
Lot of people wanted who was the other Rhea on this card,
right?
You know, so there were 2. There was a handful of ladies
to fight.
That was the problem. Handful of ladies that weren't on here, and you put these on here, and this is the first night in a long time, right? The ladies both matches did not deliver.
Yeah, and we keep saying their pay-per-views have been off the hook, man. And this one, well, again, there was some good stuff. It was just an okay show. I mean, it wasn't bad, just okay. Not like slight thumbs up. So like a 6.5 out of 10, maybe something like that. But the women's division, man, they still have the most talent in the world, but they have been, and they are really floundering, man. It's just like, what's going on here, man? Like,
I think you're hearing that a lot in like both federations. You're hearing that a lot in AEW.
The other one's a disaster, but
but you're hearing like, what are we doing here? Because even it seems like the women's Money in the Bank, the men's one even seems to be more. The women just win it and cash it in within a month or two. Every year, it just, and the men's one tends to go on and be involved in storylines and do.
Good point.
So we'll have to see. Hopefully they can get something going in this women's division. You said Kairi Sane resigned?
Apparently, yeah.
I'd like to put her back with Asuka. I like them as a tag team.
Well, I got to think she's doing something main event here, whether it's with EO or Asuka or whatever. I got to think something's going on there. Because, man, they are just kind of treading water with their women. It is not good.
They've all fought each other.
Right. Yeah. Or the angles are just or people aren't over, I mean, what's Bailey doing? What's going on with some of these girls? Anyway, the tags, what's going on with any of them? So, yeah, great weekend in Detroit, though. It's been a long time. People were so excited. WrestleCon, a little bit different. It was a smaller WrestleCon than Mania, obviously.
Right.
No vendors or anything like they have there. Tons of people selling things and things like that. There was none of that. It was just the wrestlers, but it was like a who's who. Bret Hart, Sting was there. Cool. A lot of the old dudes, Honky, Sergeant Slaughter, Ted DiBiase, and IRS were there.
Honky and Slaughter, were they at the pissed off table together, or just two guys?
They were right next to each other. Yeah, I didn't talk to Slaughter.
I heard Slaughter's ticked off at Evans. Man,
yeah, he's like suing her or something, or trying to trademark things, and yeah. So I did not talk to him, but it was very cool. I was there to get Sting because I've never seen Sting before, cool. Like up close in person. So we got Sting. He was awesome. Couldn't have been better. Talked to him for a few minutes, and then we had a great week. We got hooked up a couple of times. I met Brett at the last WrestleCon. This one, our boy Brock knew his handler, and let's say we got slightly hooked up a little bit because we knew Brett's handler. So
that was there amazing. With you guys.
The freaking moment of the night, though, the day. I'm standing here, right? And we're just kind of hanging out by Brett. And Brett was right next to Steiner. I talked to Steiner a little bit again because he's from around here. I covered his high school all the time. If you ever watch the news, Bay City Western was Papa Pump High or, Genetic Freak High or whatever. Like every time. I never call it Bay City Western. It's like Steiner High or something. So I was talking to him about that. He was telling me about his kid just signed with Virginia Tech to play basketball. So congrats to him. Real good basketball player, obviously going to the ACC. So we were talking about that. And then his nephew who went to Grand Blanc and won state championship, things like that. Anyway, we're standing there and this old guy walks up to all the guys. And I'm like, I think that's Bill Apter. And it was Bill Apter. So we're just standing there watching him, listening to him talk and stuff. And then Apter walks up to me and goes, "Hey, you know how to run a camera?" Of all people that he asked me.
No, I've never been around one.
Oddly enough, what am I wearing, a sign? They're like, yeah, that's what I do for a living. And he goes, "Awesome, record my interview with Scott Steiner right now." Okay, Bill Apter. So me and Apter are interviewing Scott Steiner. So that was pretty dang cool, Apter's a legend, so that was very cool that he was in the building. And awesome, so if you see that on Sportskeeda, that is me running the camera, which I did nothing. I just stood there holding the camera. I didn't move it or anything. He was just like, "Oh, stay on both of us at the same time." Like, okay, whatever. Easiest free money I ever made there. So yeah, very cool to meet him. Then we talked to him for a little bit. Man, you want to talk about a guy that I would love to sit and talk to. Bill Apter's got some stories, man, going back to the Garden in the 60s and 70s. So that would be a very cool guy to get to know. But very cool, man. It was awesome. A lot of walking. Obviously, I can't talk because we were up for like 18 hours straight. So great weekend. Wish it would have ended a little. It was missing that one thing. It was missing like the one moment.
Last year they had Lesnar destroy the ring with the forklift or whatever he
one
did.
One of the greatest images of all time.
Very cool, unforgettable. You're right. I don't think this SummerSlam has that SummerSlam moment, if you will. I don't know that there really was.
No, it didn't. And, it would have to be something from the first 3 matches, and they were just good matches, and the right guy won all 3 of them, but it didn't have that aha moment, like the thing you're going to remember forever. Brock coming back, Becky coming back, the dump truck thing, whatever it was, forklift. But it was decent. It was fun to go. Anything else, Nick, that TV wise maybe you saw that I didn't see sitting in the stands?
No, the crowd was large, hard that it didn't seem as loud as some, and I think that's because you're in a much bigger stadium.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
It didn't feel.
People were ripping on the crowd I saw online, like, never come to Detroit again. And I'm like, there were moments where the crowd was there, like the beginning of the Seth match. Crowd was dead.
It's just
the girls match. The crowd was dead.
Yeah,
but it was loud though. Like those first 3 matches. You know what? Put on a good match. The crowd would be loud and excited. And those other ones, they were rightfully so dead.
John Cena will tell you, I think he's the guy that said it, man. You got 25,000 in the Amway Center down the road for me are going to sound louder than 60,000 at Ford Field. The stadium's bigger. It doesn't amplify as well. Yeah, it's just the smaller stadiums pop.
And Ford Field does not get super loud there. I have been to one game one time when the Lions went 5-0 in whatever year it was, 2011 or something. It was insanely
1911?
Loud. Yeah, 1911. No, 2011 at Ford Field. When they went 5-0, they beat the Bears, and they had like 6 false starts in the first 7 snaps because they couldn't hear. But for the most part, and there was legit 50-some thousand there. It was packed. And they sold extra seats. My buddy got one of them. The corners, they were selling behind the black curtain. They were selling upstairs around so you could still see. They were gone. They sold them all. Cool. It was legit more than 50,000 in there, and the floor was packed. And I mean, they sold late too, like the last couple of days. It just, they were loud when they should have been loud, and when the matches were boring, they weren't. But yeah, I did hear that though.
Yeah, you could see it did feel that way. It did not seem loud.
So I think I met also, we'll end on this. I think I met all 16 of our Job Guys fans this week.
All right.
I think
thanks for watching,
14
guys.
of them. Yeah, it was very cool, man. At WrestleCon, a couple of dudes at the end of the night walking out, a couple of dudes that I mentioned earlier, and then just randomly walking down the street. Hey, Job Guys, man. So
that's great. Thanks for watching. Awesome.
All 12 of you who have listened to us and watch us, I appreciate it, man. It was cool to talk to all you guys and just, talk to you for a couple of minutes or whatever. It was great, man. Thank you for watching. Tell your friends, hit like, hit subscribe, all that stuff. Great time. Hopefully we don't have to wait another 30 years before we get another cool event down here. Nick, appreciate it, brother.
Thanks for
as always.
Appreciate it.
All right, Job Guys. Out.
Pleasure's all yours, Bucky boys.